the civil war in Kerry. Ballyseedy.
They were fed from 15 cakes a day they used to bake that time, and leave it in the dead of the night in the rocks to them. And these flowers grew after that was all over. And I took them out at one time and had an aunt here, and she read me and she told me the story that they grew after that, and they come out and bloomed of the colour of the national flag. And they're there since the 3rd of May 1921, that's when they're growing. They're all up along the shed there.
That's lovely, yeah.
This is the shed they left from, that's where they gathered in here.
And how many miles would it be now to Drummerkeedy from here?
I suppose, anyway. On foot.
On foot, yeah.
They went back across into Lochmask out of the bridge of Kildun past it. And tough to them.
And how many from the village here would you know were involved?
O'Brien and Seamus Park. And there was only about 3 from this village. But they all came in to say goodbye that evening, she told me, but Michael O'Brien. And he was the only one that didn't get back. He was shot that day in Drummerkeedy.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
He was attending to Tom Maguire. Tom was wounded.
Is he buried now in Cong?
He lives in Cong, yeah.
Oh yes. That's the one with the beautiful type of headstone with the cap on it. Yeah.
There.
I was, yeah.
That's my father's built side by side from there.
Is that right? Yeah.
Well, the border works now, they have it, they're keeping, like, they look after the graves there, I believe. They have it in that marble, in open clay. This kind of rock or something.
Oh yes, yeah.
But if we go over the...
Fine.
Are you right now?
Yeah, fine, yeah.
We're here now on the rocks of Kildun. Take a good look there at that hole there going in, that's where the men slept. This is where Commandant General Tom Maguire, this is where he slept. He was here for 2 months, full time, from the 7th of March to the 3rd of May. The evening of the 3rd of May they left for the ambush in Drummerkeedy. And my father was his body there, and he slept just in along there. We'll see him here now further again in a few minutes. That's where they slept for 2 months.
And is that what is that? That is a tunnel, is it going in?
Yeah, a tunnel.
Does it go in far?
Well, yeah, well, no, I suppose about 10 yards.
10 yards.
This is where the Mayo, the flying column now, South Mayo Brigade.
In the fight for independence?
Yeah. The 7th of March 1921 they came in here. The evening of the ambush in Kilfall and Parstrey.
And back here then?
Yeah, back here. They were here for 2 months. They trained here on the rocks.
And
fed from our house.
Yeah. And what did they eat then?
Bacon and cabbage mostly.
And you were saying?
Well, yes.
And the bread, it says you were 15?
Oh, yeah. 15 cake bag of flour a day they used to bake that thing for them.
My gosh.
And down hot oven and the bed shimmers in the house at the time. Leave it in here in the dead of the night.
In case,
yeah. Come along in bed when the fans would raid the house. Looking for the lads, you know, doing it. And
so that it's a very historic place. And we're sharing it with, of course, with John Langan and Tomas Jr. back there. Here in the parish of Cong, very, very dense undergrowth and bushes and trees growing. And this is where the flying column of the South Mayo Brigade here trained and had their camp during the Troubles. And here where Tom Jr. and JJ and John are standing, we can see the inside now of where the column actually bivouacked, I suppose is the word. Could you tell us?
I wasn't sure was it something he was, or was it spying on the guys, but they brought him into the camp and they held him for so many hours and they threatened him, but nobody ever got him.
So today now the covering is gone and it's open to the sky. Timber that was there, ah yes, yeah. Yeah. I see. So in this dense undergrowth it was a perfect hideaway.
You see a lot. You're steady here on the rocks of Kildun. You see them little walls there, they mightn't look much to you fellas now, but that's where they sat now back in them years, back in 1920s and 1921. You're about 5 miles here from Ballinrobe, and from about a mile this side of Ballinrobe, then you come on the RIC men was coming 4 miles away. And there's a fork there on the road for Cong and hit the cross, and they watched that spot, and as they came along this crossroad, they went out and they ambushed them just at the corner across from where we are here today. They were there, I suppose, 70 years now, that was. But I built that one time, they made a film here. And I built that, that's how that's standing there. But you see more of them along there, they're fallen.
Ah, yes, yeah.
That's what they said. There were no fools in them times, were there?
And the sow, the cross of the Neil then is in what direction?
The Neil is just down on towards Fallon Road there.
Over there.
About a mile.
So they had people actually telling them...
They had, for 4 miles, there was one man in Mile Hill, the mile this side of Fallon Road, and another man in the back of the village of the Neil, and I think with flags. They used to wave and they'd know how many RIC men would see they had the guns at him on the bikes across their back. You see, and all they wanted was the guns because they have no ammunition. They'd cross out at the back of where we are here and they'd ambush them and take the guns off them. That's what they wanted, you know. But wasn't it interesting to see all of them the way they had them built, and they're all facing towards the Neil.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting, yeah. And it's a very, it's a limestone area, obviously, here.
Limestone, yeah.
So it's easy to get the stone to build these hides.
Yeah.
And you built this one here yourself?
I built that back in 1980. They made a film there in a shree, and I built that at that time. But there was an young lad here, he was English, and I was telling him the story. And went out on the road, he said, I'm British, he said, but I'm ashamed of who I am today. There was a Spanish crowd that made the film. Yeah. And it wouldn't be allowed into England at the time unless they put 8 minutes out of it that was made here. The British wouldn't allow it in.
This was standing up and it was all falling over the years. Sure, this is going back 70 years, isn't it?
75 years.
70, yeah.
And that had fallen down. You see there were a few of them around there.
Yeah, you can see what they're standing.
The hedge, yeah. But I suppose that's overgrown now, you know, that's 70 years ago. You could see it straight down to the knee.
I see. Yeah. And you were saying the food was brought into a redstone?
They used to bring it across from the house, only across there from the chairs. And the dead of the night, they'd leave it over here, it's a big red rock. And we'd see it now, the light goes, they'd leave it there and they'd collect it in, you see. But that's now.
Okay, yeah.
We're still here on the rocks of Kildun, and this is where the food was left over the column at the time. 15 cakes a night they used to leave in here. They did it at night, maybe 12 o'clock, leave them here at this stone, and they came and they collected them when they were about 500 or 600 yards further up the rock there.
Further out here in the distance.
Over the bushes there. I would see now where the shot left there. They didn't leave them near where they were camped.
Up to one of the biggest encampments, which as you can see is hidden amongst the biggest amount of bracken and shrubs and briars you've ever seen. Reminds you of the Burmese jungle. And leaving the camera on now to see, can we get an idea of the terrain. We're actually coming out in the opening here now. And here's JJ himself, encamped up here.
Careful there now. You see, that's overgrown now. That's where they had a roof now with a lot of ash poles. Across there. There's the linoleum and floor covering and
another one here, yeah.
That's one of the biggest.
That's one of the biggest.
Yeah. This is now where they're trained and all, you know. There's only one of the places. No, there are a lot of camps out around there, so they didn't all fit in here.
Scattered out way over.
Yeah, right, out in the bushes.
Out in the bushes there. But this would be one of the...
Oh, this is the main one.
This would be literally the headquarters.
Well, a good way now from the road here, you know.
I see.
There are a mile that's going almost from the road.
So what you have here is a natural sculpture really in the rock.
See, they quartered the rock, see, the stone. See?
All piled up here, yeah.
Yeah, they quartered them.
So down here, in other words, you have a very, very deep ravine which could easily be covered.
Oh yeah, it was cold. Straw they had for the bed. They get a sunny day, then they put out the straw to dry it. And they say it was a very dry month of March. That year, that's all they saved them. 7th of March they came in here.
So there'd be about, how many here would you say? About 30, yeah.
30.
After that famous Turmikidi ambush.
Well, before the ambush.
Before the ambush, this is where they actually encamped, I see.
Yeah, this is where.
Very rough terrain, so if it was covered over, it'd be very, very difficult to find.
Oh, they were never found. Never found.
And of course, that time, you didn't have aerial reconnaissance as we have nowadays.
No.
25 years after the event, you can see that nature has re-emerged and taken over this historic site. There's a fine crop, as you can see, of hazelnuts starting to grow here now. And if you passed here without being told, you'd never realize that this is a very historic place in our recent history during the fight for independence. And again, we must thank J.J. Moran for pointing out this to us, which possibly in times in the future people won't even know about.
Oh, they would not. They would
which is rather sad.
Nobody knows about it. No.
No, I never
Oh,
knew.
that's so. That's so.
We
were brought up with this, you see, it was like a religion to us. Yeah, to go to all
so, John, you heard about it as well, did you?
Oh, I did.
Oh, yeah,
I told...
Oh, it was well known, like.
Yeah.
Nobody
Yeah.
ever bothered about, you know. Yeah.
Now we're back again on ground level here, as you can see, and just up there, in amongst these briars and so on, was the big redoubt we were just after filming. And now as we pan along here and face eastward at this wall here, JJ is going to tell us more. Okay, JJ?
Yeah, well, this is all right. Well, this is as it was now in the old days. There was nothing changed here. But outside the wall here, it was much like this book. And this is where they had the tents and little huts. This is where they slept under canvas at night. They didn't all fit in that place in there. This is where they trained, but it's overgrown. So, and a few hundred years old, we are Paul and Afton, where they said the Mass in the penal days.
So there's a long tradition here really then.
Yeah, there is.
So the whole area here is really a historic area.
Very few knows about it now.
And it's so near the road and yet so far away.
Right. Like we were told all this, but the youth of the day, they look at television. They put them sitting on chairs and say, watch that, you'll be all right. That's when they're all wrong. We had professors on our own.
It was hidden very, very much there amongst the shrubs and the trees and the rocks. Running down then across this open field area here, the volunteers used to come down here to this low-lying area where JJ tells me there was a lake in winter time. So we now go down and hear what he has to say took place here.
On the head back here in the 1921. Often they broke the ice here on cold March morning, come over the bush and break the ice and wash themselves. Well, there's nothing to notice. The 15th of August and the weather was very dry. But some those to come out of the bushes and shove in here and wash themselves in the morning.
So there was a little lake or a little turlock here at the time?
It all floods along here, you see.
Ah, I see, yeah.
There's nothing to know. But some those. Now they have to.
Okay there, fine. Okay.
Where the priests had their confessions and gave the Holy Communion before they left for the ambush in Tormigate in the evening of 3rd of May 1921.
That stone there now, the big one there in the...
Stone was set up. Some people say no, he didn't. But I asked Tom Maguire were they anointed before they left, and he took a bit of Latin. He said no, no priest should have anything to do with it. But he went to the Neil had a priest by the name of Father Campbell.
Father?
Father Campbell.
Campbell.
In the Neil, I think he came from Crow Pastor.
I see.
He said, oh, certainly, he said, and I'll give you Holy Communion, but I didn't ask him, he said to give us Holy Communion.
I got it.
That was out in the open there, and then they don't want to put it into the wall. That's the stone he set.
So safeguarded there really, yeah.
See, they were excommunicated, no priest was anything to do with him beyond this priest he was. That's the stone he set on. There's history there. We're still here in the rocks of Kildun. This was the Aaron's dump now. This is where they held all the guns and the bombs and the bullets. This is where the ammunition went from the ambush in Tormigate. They were carried across down to almost the Cush Loch shore, taken across in the boat in the lake. And they were spied on here at one time. To the barrack in Clong, looking enough the right man in the right spot. He sent word to the village to shift them to their phone over to raiders. All the names, all the lads that were on the run were down here. And the neighbours set fire to them, he burned all the records and he took the guns and hid them.
So this cloche here actually was the arms done for that.
He was in Carra, we came here with the donkey and cat one morning with guns. When he risked his life to come down from the donkey and cat, as though he was going to the mast and Ballinrobe with Bonnie. So that's history now for you.
Very good. And it's a natural, actually, it's a natural sculpture in the rock itself, and covered around by trees and so on. Now we're still in the parish of Cong, and as you can see where JJ is standing, it's a natural sculpture in the limestone plateau, disappearing there but blocked up by trees. And this, during the time of the Troubles, was also used to store arms and whatever. And today, of course, nature is coming back in and taking it all over. But it's fairly clear still here, so you must imagine that the rest of them were like that when in use. There in the distance now you can see the trees coming in and blocking up this.
Field here now, I suppose, is a statute acre here. All the men, they had all the potatoes that grew in that field, I don't know how much of them, about 3 tons. And they took the seed out, and at last they ran short there to give them the seed. They had to seed as well, they had to get seed from the neighbours. And I don't know what, there was 3 tons of this for them.
And that was while they were in the encampment. Now, here's JJ's house. It looks absolutely gorgeous, especially with the lovely straw you thatch. And you've it ridged well too.
Yeah, well, why the timber was slated was nice. I didn't like the slated because it was all over told and all that went through it.
Oh, yeah, you would
Yeah.
like to.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like you're supposed to get 2,000 of a grand, which is 1911 I got. Like if it's 2,000, it should be 2,000.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, as a fellow, okay.
Right. This is the base of a mine now that was set on the road about a couple of hundred yards from where we are today. I suppose I'll carry on with the story.
Do you, please, yeah.
Father Griffin, they lured him out onto a sick call and they shot him and buried him out in the bog. Mrs. Quinn, she held the child in her arms somewhere outside Galway. They shot her, the Loughnans. They took them from the thrashing and shot them and pulled them 6 miles after they called the tender and dumped them in the pond. So there was a local man in RIC man, he was based in Galway. He got married to a neighbour of ours later and he fed them the information that these tens were coming into the Fair of Shule, Easter Monday, into Ballinrobe and out by the Need. So they set the ambush for them just up the road from where we are, and that was the base of the mine they had in the road. And they came to Shule, they took out a young fellow with the name of Kildun to shoot him, and his mother threw herself on top of him and saved him. And they burned the house to the ground on him that day, and they turned back. They never went this way at all. That's all that saves them. That mine shouldn't be there, it should be explored on the road. I think Easter Monday 1921.
My gosh.
So that's the story. Sir Martin here lived now, the rebel from Kildun he was known as. He died in 1969.
And this is his house.
This was his house.
He had a fine fireplace there, hadn't he?
I sat here in 1954 when the priest and the missioner came to the door and he was having his tea. He said, "Are you aware there's a mission on?" He said, "Down there in the Need." "I am." He said, "The last thing I want to see standing there is a priest in any shape or form." And he said, "How is it if you lose your soul? If I lose my soul," he said, "that's my lookout." He said, "Sure, I'm not belonging to the church at all." He said, "Want to excommunicate?" He said, "I never say with you through." He could have a shot at that, and that's over one of the little bottles. He used to take a lot an antique.
What, is it a baby power, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Quite a man for the beer. But he was a genius, you know. He used to tell us a lot of stories. This is where he made the bombs himself and the bullets here.
Yeah.
Lead, he'd made lead and let it into a bucket of cold water, often he told us.
My God.
He died in 1969. My father died in April and he died in November 69. So that was,
How old was he then?
He was 81 years.
Was he 81, yeah.
He was in 7.
And the same goes for cattle rustlers.
Huh? What?
The game's over, cowboy.
Uncle Matt, you're okay.
Yeah, I am now.